We are live for this week's Windy City Hockey Live. Yes, weekly in the off season, we tend to do these off season live streams, and well, we're back for this week, and should be an interesting one because there hasn't been much news in this past week from the Hawks, other than a few AHL signings here and there. And the announcement really that the official announcement, the Blackhawks will be playing St. Louis in the preseason back in Milwaukee. So that's about it for news this week. What's up, Brian? How are you? And tomorrow I should mention it's the official 6th anniversary of Windy City Hockey, since I will be since the channel was created as Nick S. Blackhawks Talk. We will have a video out tomorrow for the fact that it is the 6th-year anniversary of Windy City Hockey. I'm doing all right. It's been a long day, but doing all good. Yeah, it's been 6 years of Windy City Hockey. Don't know why. Let me check something on Twitter. Maybe that's what I have to do. Should be able to read comments from Twitter and no, I guess Twitter, they don't allow live comments. Yes, I have the live stream running in both YouTube and Twitter again. Twitter currently 8 viewers to YouTube's 2. Oh, what's up, Evan? How are you? I'm doing all right. Getting ready for another trip. Next Tuesday, I'm going out of town. And I went to I was at the NHL draft 2 weeks ago. So I now have another trip next week. So my weekly live stream for next week will be on Monday night instead of on a typical Thursday. So how are you enjoying your Rangers off season? Because I noticed they were trying to move Trouba and that didn't work out. I hear you. Yeah, I'm actually headed out towards the Orlando area as well. Going to see my older sister out there for about a week. So I'll be out in that area next week. Yeah, I understand that, because that Trouba contract's not the greatest, and Trouba not waiving to go to Detroit doesn't help either. Again, for these weekly live streams, I only do about 30 minutes on the stream, so just to give you a heads up there, guys. Trouba is a bum, that is for sure. So if you're just coming to the stream, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I will highly appreciate it. Yeah, I understand that. There's been players I've never liked on my team, and one had gone, but it never turned out to happen like that. Yeah, I did see the AHL schedule came out, and apparently the Blackhawks were trying to have the Ice Hogs play an outdoor game at Wrigley Field as well. Uh, since there will be ice there, I guess the AHL didn't approve the outdoor game at Wrigley for an Ice Hog game. Well, I think we're pretty much done making moves since we did a lot of free agent signing. If we do any moves, it's going to be a minor trade or two to just bolster a little bit. But I think the roster's what we signed, I'm pretty sure that's where we're sitting for this coming season for our roster. I could see where you're coming from, but I can also see where he's coming from. So it's a tale of two things. Where do you think the Hawks end up finishing in the Central this year? Seventh in the Central right now. I think we're better than the St. Louis Blues. St. Louis didn't do much to improve their team. The Blackhawks really did improve their roster. Um, St. Louis looks like they were falling apart already last year, so I can see us realistically ending up in seventh in the division. I could also see us finishing eighth. It's going to be a close finish to the bottom two in the division, but I do realistically think we're better than the Blues. On paper, it looks like what the Hawks were able to do to acquire players. Um, it really improved the roster from a hockey metric standpoint to all around team play. It looks like they ended up acquiring key players like Teuvo Teravainen. He's coming back home. Your division standings are Dallas, Colorado, Nashville, Winnipeg, Utah, Minnesota, Chicago, St. Louis. Yeah, it's too early to really predict too. So I think that's a fair testament for a prediction of a division standing for this coming year. But yeah, what the Hawks were able to do, they acquired needs. They basically got a first line for Connor Bedard to have Teuvo Teravainen potentially on his right wing and Tyler Bertuzzi on his left wing. Kurashev can move down into the second line with Jason Dickinson. The reason why I don't want Kurashev on that first line, even though they do have chemistry of Kurashev and Bedard, I want some more defensive structure to go with Bedard so he's not getting hammered and stuck in the defensive zone. And with Teuvo, he brings that defensive help that Bedard could use on a first line. I could realistically see it. The Ice Hogs might be the deepest team in the AHL this coming year, especially for prospect cores. Lashunov, Nazer, Slager, all going to Rockford potentially, depending on how their camps go. But I realistically think all three of those players end up in Rockford to start the season. And then Comesso taking the reins as the starting goalie with Soderblom as backup. You have Colton Dock going into another year. EDM. You have EDM and Ethan Del Mastro. You have a good core going in Rockford, and that's what the Hawks need for the development path. Do I think Lashinov will get an NHL game this season? Potentially. I think what happens is we could see him make his NHL debut, but he won't be a regular in the lineup if he does make his NHL debut. I think he pretty much stays the entire year in Rockford pending any injuries. I don't think the Hawks want to call him up this coming year. I think they want him to flourish down in Rockford, get the top D pairing minutes potentially with Ethan DeMastro, and start cooking the prospects even more, having them play meaningful hockey all season, potentially best team in the AHL, hopefully, and go far and have a championship caliber roster. Granted, in the AHL, it's a little bit different. Championship caliber rosters in the AHL are usually the veteran teams. Look at the Hershey Bears. The last 2 years, they've been veteran presence rosters, and there wasn't many young prospects from the Washington Capitals on those two on the Hershey Bears roster. So we'll see what happens, but I do think the Ice Hogs are setting up to have one of the deepest rosters and prospect cores to be a very fun and competitive roster. Any more questions, guys? What do you think we could see with the Blackhawks roster this coming year, or what do you want to see for Winter Classic jersey this coming season? Is Moore playing in the AHL this year, or is he? Oliver is staying with Minnesota this season. What I kind of could see happening at the end of Minnesota's season, he ends up signing his ELC with the Blackhawks, and he ends up coming up to the Blackhawks at the end of the NCAA season and plays with a few games with the Hawks. But who knows? But he is playing another season with the Gophers. Yeah, the Ice Hogs could use a long playoff run. They've been playing. They've been in the playoffs the last 3 years. They haven't really made it out of the first round. Hopefully, they can break that trend and go further. The 09 Winter Classic this year. I wouldn't mind that either, but I don't think it will happen just because the 09 Winter Classic being the first Winter Classic we wore outdoors at Wrigley Field again. I don't think they'll do that one again. I could see that jersey coming back potentially for the 100th anniversary. The jersey, I had a cool idea a little bit ago. If I could pull it up, I will upload it to StreamYard and show you. But I made a concept a couple of weeks, about a month ago, that I was, if I can pull it. Yes, there it is. But yeah, for what I kind of want to see happen is not an actual Blackhawk throwback, but a throwback to a team they actually bought the rights to all players' contract to create the first ever Chicago Blackhawks roster. What's up? How are you doing? New face, I see. If you're new to the channel, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I will highly appreciate it. As tomorrow we go into our 6th season of Windy City Hockey. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was a backup round working in progress. I still do need the other 3 Stanley Cup banners to go with it, but have the 2010, 13, and 15 banners, which isn't bad. Pulling up a jersey concept I created about a month ago. So, this jersey concept I created is based off the Portland Rosebuds of the PCHL that the Blackhawks technically share a history with. The Portland Rosebuds were the team that folded where the Blackhawks actually purchased all the players' contracts to create the first ever Chicago Blackhawks roster back in 1926. Yes, we do have the Winter Classic this year. We play against St. Louis in Wrigley Field. Yeah, I wanted to go really retro with it. But yeah, the Hawks will be playing St. Louis in the Winter Classic this year at Wrigley Field. Second time the Hawks will host the Winter Classic at Wrigley Field. Third Winter Classic they will host. They were in the 2009 Winter Classic at Wrigley Field, the 2014 Stadium Series at Soldier Field, the 2015 Winter Classic in Washington to play against the Capitals at Nationals Park, 2016 Stadium Series in Minnesota playing the Wild at the Minnesota Golden Gophers Stadium. Then 2017 they played the Blues in Busch Stadium, which I was at that game. It was terrible weather and terrible outcome. 2019 Winter Classic at Notre Dame, where the Hawks did host the Winter Classic, and I was at that game and we lost because we suck outdoors. You're thinking it will be a Fanatics first custom jersey, like a first jersey they have to create. Technically, it would have been, but now that freaking Utah has a hockey team, they had to come up with a very simple templated jersey. Yeah, I'm hyped for a Winter Classic jersey. I will buy it immediately. Need a summer prospect boxing. Yeah. Marcel got signed to another AHL deal by the Ice Hogs. Do you think he gets his ELC signed after the season? Potentially, Brian. Oh, the first commenter from the Twitterverse happened on a live stream. That's cool. Need a summer prospect boxing camp. Well, I think the prospect camp is over. I think it ended this week. Well, last week on Friday. Utah jersey reminds me of. Yeah, it basically is that. A rushed made jersey. I do know this. I have tickets for half the home games this year, including the Winter Classic. So, seeing what games I will be going to this season. I know a couple of the games. I hope you kind of like this NHL draft jacket I was able to get out, and I do kind of want to go up to the Milwaukee game. I want to see I do want to try and go to new arenas, and if I can go to the game in Milwaukee, I think that will be cool because I could cross off technically another arena on the list. One interesting fact, I don't know if you guys noticed this year, the Hawks only play St. Louis 3 times this year. None of the games will be at the United Center, as one of them will be at Wrigley Field and 2 of them will be in St. Louis. And then in the preseason, they have 2 games against St. Louis, one in St. Louis and the other in Milwaukee. So that's interesting to see what happens. In a cracking game. Yeah, that's a good match. A good set of games. I know I have Utah on the list. I do want to see if I can try and add the Sharks game to my tickets because I want to see the home opener. I like going to home openers. I was at it last year when they played Vegas. And right now I don't have a ticket for the home opener. I have the ticket for the second game at the United Center this year when they play Buffalo. Yeah, Utah's stadium might be bad. But yeah, I'm not going out. I'm not going to go to games out west. I'm just going to games at the United Center, potentially the games in St. Louis if I'm still living in the St. Louis area. Don't know quite yet because I'm graduating college in just a couple of weeks. And I'm trying to get a job and hopefully in the Chicago area. I do wonder what the goal horn will sound like for Utah. Delta Center is going to be the worst arena in the league. Yeah, that's for sure. Granted, they are looking like they're going to get new arenas in a couple of years. I don't know if that's true or not. One interesting thing is that I don't know if anyone's really pointed out 3 arenas in the Central Division, all named after a airline. The United Center, of course, for the Blackhawks. American Airlines arena is an arena or center in Dallas. Well, it's American Airlines has a sponsorship rights to the Dallas stadium. And then the Delta Center in Utah. The gold horn closer to the ice. What are you talking about, Ryan? The horn is still it's always been in the scoreboard actually. Oh, you're talking about when the horn was louder. Yeah, I noticed it's been quieter in the last couple of years. Maybe it'll be fixed with the new network. Yeah, the horn's always technically been in the Raptors, up in the actually built into the scoreboard. They were. It seemed like when they replaced the scoreboard to the new one, that's when it sounded more muted because the new one is much bigger. There's not much vibration noise from the horn. If I do believe that's how it used to be, the horn, a goal horn, has been set up at the United Center. I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe that's how it is. I could see Nolan get an opportunity this season. He's played well in the last 2 training camps, so it would not surprise me if Allen gets a shot this season. Do you think Nazer makes the team or will be at AHL? I honestly think we see Nazer go to the Rockford Ice Hogs. I think what the plans is the Hawks want to have the Ice Hogs have a ton of their prospects and cook and build a strong AHL team that can where a lot of the core players of the future are playing this year in Rockford for the Blackhawks, because if you have them down in Rockford, they're going to have a lot more meaningful minutes. Up in Chicago, not so much because the lineup's pretty stacked for a full roster. So let them cook in Rockford, tear up that league, and then come up next around the trade deadline probably. I will mention I was at Frank Nazer's first NHL game where he ended up scoring, so that was awesome to see. I don't know yet. Maybe. So, guys, I do want to mention we're coming up to the 30-minute mark, getting close to the end of the stream. Tomorrow, again, I will have a video out because it is the 6th anniversary of Windy City Hockey. Originally, as you know, if you were here for the start of the channel's history, it was Nick S. Blackhawks talk, but now it turned to Windy City Hockey after a year of Nick S. Blackhawks talk, and we're getting close to that. We have the 1,000 subscribers. We're still growing, and with the team getting better each and every year, I think we keep growing the channel. Do you think the Hawks get close to a playoff spot? There was reports that comes off hinting it. I don't. I would like it to happen, but I don't. I could see us competitive, be a competitive roster, making us where I realistically think we have a 75 to 77 points on the season this year, which that makes that almost a 25 to 26 point increase, just because of the fact we had 52 points this past season. We're not playoff ready yet. The year following in the 25-26 season, I expect us to be competing for a wild card spot. This year, it's a year of getting everything gelled together, building this roster up, and getting them ready for competing for playoffs in the coming years. When do you see Sam Renzel signing? Renzel, I think we see signing probably after this year in college, like Oliver Moore. I don't know yet. So, guys, I do want to let you know, again, stay tuned for tomorrow's video. And we're coming to that end of the stream. So, thank you for watching the broadcast. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And most of all, let's go Hawks!